Hey everybody, welcome to another Celebrating Canadians moment here at Shaw Cable in Medicine Hat, Alberta. It is my awesome privilege to introduce you to Mr. Major Murray Jaster.
Hello, Jodi.
How are you?
I'm feeling very good. How about you?
I'm so good, and I so love you. I just love him and his wife Anita. How I got to know these people is at singing, songwriting, kind of music events all over the place, only to discover that he's actually very important in the scheme of things. And I mean this sincerely. Like, you have a huge staff over at the Salvation Army in Medicine Hat, Alberta, and
Yes.
Brooks, right?
Yes, we do, yeah.
How many staff members?
Running around 54, 55 right now.
And then how many volunteers during the kettle campaign? And
Oh, hundreds.
Yeah.
Hundreds of volunteers.
like, I had no idea that, like, you're not just a pretty face who sings well. Like, who knew, right? And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to start today's show a little differently than might be usual. But I'd like for you to listen to an amazing song that Murray has written. Tell us a little bit, Murray, about the song.
Okay, this is it's a song called Prairie Boy. It's never been recorded. I just wrote it a bit ago. I'm looking for a producer. But it's a song about growing up on the prairies where I grew up around Swift Current area in Saskatchewan. And so, but it could be on any prairie situation. So it's a song called Prairie Boy and how simple life was back then. And you know, just growing up in that whole era of time was a beautiful thing.
Wow. How old are you, actually?
I am 62 right now.
62?
Yes,
Oh, you're actually older than you look.
Yeah.
That's nice, right? That was a nice
Well,
sort of
that's a
backhanded
compliment. I'll take that anytime.
All right. So
Yeah,
anyways, ladies and gentlemen, by Mr. Murray Jaster, I hope you enjoy Prairie Boy.
Thanks, Jodi. In the town where I grew up, I could drive a pickup truck, though I was only age 9 or 10, but it didn't seem to matter then. The summer seemed so long and warm, the winter snow was deep and cold, but it didn't seem to matter none. All our days are filled with endless fun. I'm a prairie boy where the roads are long and flat. I used to walk a mile to school now. Can you imagine that? I'm a prairie boy, and I'm proud to be that way. Those golden fields are God's country, and they're calling me to stay. Didn't have to lock our doors. All us kids did daily chores. A lot of work and a little fun made us into what we have become. I hope that I can pass along to the ones I really love values that are bold and strong, that'll keep their sights on God above. I'm a prairie boy where the roads are long and flat. I used to walk a mile to school now. Can you imagine that? I'm a prairie boy, and I'm proud to be that way. Those golden fields are God's country, and they're calling me to stay. How the years roll by, time does really fly, but my memories are strong, going back where I belong. I'm a prairie boy where the roads are long and flat. I used to walk a mile to school now. Can you imagine that? I'm a prairie boy, and I'm proud to be that way. Those golden fields are God's country, and they're calling me to stay. Those golden fields are God's country, and they're calling me to stay. Prairie boy.
Wow, Murray Jaster. That was amazing.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else feel like crying just a little? I did, sort of. It is. It's so nostalgic. And so, I mean, yeah, tell me about growing up on a farm in Swift Current or somewhere in the world, like, right?
Yeah, I grew up in a little town called Rush Lake, which is just outside of Swift Current.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's a little prairie town that didn't have much in it and stuff like that. So,
Yeah. Did you know the Birch Boys? Like Jim Birch?
the name sure rings a bell.
Because I think that's where they came from. It's funny. I mean, Rush Lake's really little.
It is, yeah.
Especially now.
Yeah, especially now, yeah.
Especially now. And so that's what your song did, is it took us back to a better time in the country too, maybe.
Yeah, it was very simple, a time when you know, everybody helped each other out, everybody knew each other in those little towns and stuff like that. And my dad was a carpenter and my mom was a teacher, so you know, we lived in the town, but we helped. You know, I used to work on farms and things like that. A lot of my relatives and cousins and friends worked on farms, and so we'd help them out, get to drive, you know, trucks and stuff like that at a illegal age. But, it was
probably
a lot of
like
fun.
8.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. So it was a lot of fun and very simple, wholesome lifestyle.
Yeah, wholesome lifestyle for some people.
Yes.
But I happen to know your story, Mr. Jaster. Like, I mean, I think what's interesting, my husband, Bob, he would talk about the fact that, they drank when they were kids, but they couldn't afford like more than a case of beer for 6 of them or 12 of them.
Right, yeah.
Right? And so it wasn't as big a deal as maybe what's happening in our society today. But I know from past conversations with you that you did start drinking a bit during that season in your life.
Oh yeah, you know, it was something that was fairly common and very much in my side of the family anyways, and was kind of an accepted norm almost, right? But,
also probably underage.
Oh yeah, and I started playing in the bars and things like that when I was well underage, 15 years of age, and so so I kind of followed that lifestyle for another 15 years, playing on the road with different bands and all of that, and it was a fairly destructive lifestyle. You know.
Was it?
Yeah.
Do you want to tell us about it? Have you written your book yet?
Oh no, I haven't got no books. I've written a lot of songs about it. So.
Yeah, isn't that, they say actually, singer-songwriters often write from these depths of despair and moments in our lives, and ironically it's pretty true.
It is, you know, but again, it's just God's grace at the right moment and the right time. Something that nobody could have orchestrated or invented or anything of that nature came into my life. And
are you wanting to tell the fine people at home about that moment, or you're welcome to? This is your you know, this is your moment of glory.
Well,
let me clarify, just so I can put you at ease here, because what we're actually celebrating on this show, Celebrating Canadians, is the fact that this nation was founded on 3 really important principles as far as Bob and I are concerned.
Right.
The first was freedom, that we have freedom of speech, that we have freedom of religion, that we have freedom to believe in dreams coming true. Secondly, it was founded on a serious foundation, if you will, of a biblical scripture that said that we are going to have religious freedom. And from that, we should be allowed, therefore, to tell our stories of a God that we happen to believe in, or not, whatever. Right? And thirdly, that this nation was founded on a principle of family and the importance of family, because it was often grandmothers who sent their grandsons, or the mothers sending their sons across the pond. You know, they said, we'll pray for you. But I mean, a lot of those families were never reunited, you know, and so we believe that even though family means a lot of different things to a lot of us, family is a foundational principle of this nation. And just like you said, your family were part of the family effort to bring in a harvest, or those kinds of things, right? And so based on that, I thank you again to Shaw Cable for allowing us to have this show and share our opinions. But you do have a strong belief in what happened during sort of that moment of transition in your life. So yeah, feel free.
Yeah, well, so, I mean, like I said, it was 1984, and my life had really unraveled from all of the alcohol abuse and different things, and some of the things that I was involved with back then, which seemed to be part of the music business.
For sure.
Just to be part of it. At least that's the way
it was.
I
it
thought.
was part of the lifestyle, just in the bar watching you guys. So
yeah.
You know,
and so,
whatever.
but one day into that bar walked a Salvation Army officer, and it was an aha moment, right, when I realized that my life was going nowhere, and so it was at that point where I left the bar, and we as a family started going to
but
church.
you mean you literally left the bar scene?
Yeah.
You didn't just leave the bar with the guy. I'm thinking he took
No,
you home or
no,
something.
he didn't do anything except walked over with a big smile on his face and gave us one of their magazines, and so I left, and
you were already
started
married with kids at
Oh,
that
yeah.
point in time. So
Yeah.
so your wife would have been what we sometimes call a music widow or whatever.
Band widow, I think they
Band
called them
widow.
back in those days.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So now you were
but,
coming home.
Yeah. So we decided to to go to church, and we went to the Salvation Army, and the rest is history, as they say. After a few weeks of listening to some of the messages and understanding what it was that I needed, which was forgiveness and being set free from the situation I was in, and God did that for me, and this is what I feel in return I can at least do for Him.
So really, you would say that, if I'm hearing what you're saying, and jump in if I'm wrong, but what I hear you saying is that you feel as though, because of how your God has brought you to this place, the least you can do is now do the same as was shown to you.
That's right.
Is that?
That's exactly right. Yeah,
Okay.
it's giving back to what I received. My wife and I, being Salvation Army officers now, that's our work is to go out and not just help the underprivileged, but to tell them about the gospel and help them to come to understand that God loves them and Jesus can save them.
Wow. So just, I mean, it's probably Anita's story to tell, but how did she feel about you coming home and wanting to have a different life?
Yeah, she was all for it.
She was?
Oh, yes.
Okay, because that doesn't always work out that way.
Yeah.
You know?
No, that's right. She was all in, all the way. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Couldn't have done it without her in that way too.
That is so neat. All right, well, we are going to take just a little break. We're going to come back in a moment, and we're going to hear a whole lot more from this amazing man and this amazing Canadian. Hey everybody, welcome back. It is so fun to be getting to know Major Murray a little bit better from the Salvation Army and the ministry that you have here. I know you guys do a ton of stuff in the community, right?
Yeah, we do a fair bit of stuff in Medicine Hat. We have lots of times people are familiar with the Salvation Army by way of the thrift stores, but we do a lot of social work here. We have a resource center, and we run the shelter here in town. We have a daycare. And as well as the church and other things like that. So it's a very busy ministry unit. Yeah,
and obviously you have a huge team of people that are helping you all the time to do what you do.
Yes, we do. We have 50 plus staff, and but our managers and administrators are top notch, and we're very fortunate.
Yeah. Now, did you ever see yourself becoming the administrator of the captain of the ship? Like, is that odd to you that that's who you became? Or?
Well, when you sign on to the Salvation Army, you never know where you're going to go or what's going to happen. And I do have a little bit of a business background, so that was part of what might have been their thinking in sending my wife and I here. But you never know where you're going to end up. We've been in various situations, so you do your best.
Just do your best and be there to serve.
Yeah, that's right.
That is so cool. Well, it was super fun. I had heard about this thing that they have going on at the Salvation Army, and actually at your local building here in this city. And I thought, oh man, I've always wanted to learn how to play guitar. Now I was thinking I could take Murray's guitar and show you what I've learned there, but I suck. So no, I'm not going to do that yet. Although I did, the very first Saturday, I learned the G chord and E minor.
Well, there you go.
So I could literally write an entire song using those two chords. I'm excited, but I also have not been practicing. Get a phone call from Major Murray just checking to see why I didn't show up at the second session. And I'm like, well, I was busy, but I sent my son. And that was okay with you guys, because really you just have this heart to see people learning how to play the guitar.
Yeah, you know, I mean, we believe like music is the language of the soul, right? And it's the expression of the deepest part of a human being. And we are the only animals that I know of. I mean, birds sing, but really they're not really singing. They're just making a noise that is the same. Human beings have this gift that God has given them to interpret music and make music in all different kind of ways. And so we feel that people have that, and our task is to try to explore that a bit and bring that out of them.
Yeah, well, it was interesting. I had an interview a little while ago with a girl here in town who's been writing, and she writes plays and things like that. And I think that there's a lot of poems and a lot of stories that have been written that a lot of people are never going to hear until after somebody passes away, and they're going to get this shoebox full of, you know, or little journals full of stories. But with Guitar Jam, can you tell us a little bit about how did it come to be? I was blown away. The Saturday morning I was there, it was the first morning that you ran it. You usually run it for 2 months, right?
Yeah, we use it twice a year, 9 weeks the first time in the spring, and then 6 weeks in the fall.
Oh, well, I'll come back in the fall. I might not miss as many, because it's been a busy time for me.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. See, I didn't know that. And by the time these guys are done, they pretty much can play.
They can play something, yep. And,
even though there was like over 50, almost 60 of us that morning.
Yeah.
And you didn't have quite enough guitars. I didn't realize that you supply guitar to everybody.
Yeah, we try to make this as user-friendly as possible, and it's very, very affordable. And in some areas, in some instances, when you know, people with whole families and everything, we'll subsidize that and help them out. And so we have some guitars that on loan to people, and because you know, taking lessons can be expensive. And again, this isn't about taking away from any music teacher or anything like that. Right. As a matter of fact, it actually helps, you know, when people are finished, they feel like, you know, I want to take more, I want to learn more. So then, you know, they can go to a music teacher type thing, or a guitar teacher, right? So this is really just to try to help them to explore that whole idea of
creative
people
side
that might have wanted to do that but never had the opportunity, never had the money, or never had the instrument.
Right.
And we offer that to them.
I was blown away. Not only did I get my guitar, but I didn't like my guitar. I mean, seriously. It isn't that I didn't like it, but I'm very short. I don't know. And I just felt like I couldn't do it very easily. And I'm not, you know, I'm not saying that it's easy, because it's not. That's what my boy Caleb, he's like, Mom, it's hard. I'm like, I know. But then your son, actually, because he has a guitar shop, he said, well, I'll just bring you like a folk song guitar. So it's not so fat, like it's easier, right? And I'm like, oh, okay. And I'm like, how much is that? No, we'll just let you use it. I'm like, what? And then you let us take it home because we're supposed to be practicing.
Yes.
And so we all are, I'm sure, practicing. But that to me is like a spirit of generosity that is not normal, like what you guys are doing with all that.
Well, you know, I mean, it came about from the whole idea of if you have somebody who's learning, but, you know, and we do a loaner guitar, if they can't take it home and practice, then they're not going to really get much done during the week.
Right.
And so we've lent, you know, these guitars out, and in some cases there's people who have been there right through the program with us from the start to today.
Wow.
And still using those guitars, you know.
And it is very inexpensive. So like, how are you actually surviving, like giving away that many guitars? Yeah,
well, we have a certain amount of, you know, community funds that are set aside for community ministry that will help us to, and then, you know, we keep our costs down and as low as we can go, so.
Yeah, but you even feed us lunch.
Yes.
Like, I was having egg salad sandwiches. I haven't had, this sounds kind of crazy, but I haven't had an egg salad sandwich since the last funeral I was at, right? And I'm like, what? You guys are even giving us Kool-Aid and a little snack? Because the guy, whoever was in charge of our group, he just said, you got to quit using your fingers for a little break, you know, take a break, right?
Yeah, well, the fellowship aspect of it, that little 15-minute break, is very
Yeah.
important. People get to know one another. Salvation Army, we've always tried to do that, and so a lot of this is just by donation. You know, it's
Wow.
people donate this stuff, and our staff or our volunteers are from our church are the ones who put the lunch on, and so yeah, it's the whole thing. It's designed to be an experience that is fun and exciting and yet educational.
So, I don't know, we have a little bit more time. Would you like to tell us more about the Guitar Jam, or would you like to maybe end the show today with one of those other songs that you've written?
Yeah. Well, I prefer singing over talking any day, so it's really up to you.
Well, I think we have time. Why don't we hear one more song? And,
Okay.
And why don't we say thank you for coming out now?
Well, thank
And
you.
that way, if we have to, just fade you out to end the show, that's okay.
That's fine. You
All
bet,
right.
yeah.
So again, everybody, Murray Jaster with us today in the City of Medicine Hat. I believe he's going to be going on the road someday soon, retired, and he's probably going to bring the Guitar Jam program to you, wherever you are. That's just something that I've kind of been trying to encourage him with and saying, because I believe that you are absolutely right. For some of us who were created to be creative,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a great place to start.
It is.
And
yeah.
it might just be a popping off point for all sorts of amazing things, or it might just be a check on a bucket list that says, yeah, I tried it,
Yeah.
But either way, you're okay with it.
I'm okay with it. You bet.
And you have
yeah.
guys that come in there. I mean, I was beside a little guy that literally couldn't even really hang on to the electric guitar he had.
Yeah.
He was so little and it was so heavy,
Yeah.
and he didn't learn anything. That
Yeah.
just telling you, like
Yeah.
nothing.
Lots of times that's
Right?
the way it is. Yeah.
And then you've got actually guys that scooch off into smaller groups because they're really good already.
That's right. Yeah.
And they're learning at their level. So
Yeah.
it really is for everybody.
It is. It's all levels of ability.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us again as we celebrate Canadians. Here's Murray Jaster playing you one more tune.
Okay, this is a song taken from the Thief on the Cross and his sort of point of view when he said to Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom, and Jesus said, today you'll be with me in paradise. And so this is a song that captures that very moment as he goes into paradise, and it's a song called Paradise of His Love. Oh, the beauty of the Lord in this paradise of His love. Oh, how sweetly flows the sound of His angel choir above. And I am raptured, I am captured, I'm immersed inside His grace. My heart lives in freedom in His kingdom, where I see Him face to face in this paradise of His love. Oh, the glory of His King, reigning o'er His land of peace. Oh, the joy His Father brings. Holy Spirit, we believe. And I am raptured, I am captured, I'm immersed inside His grace. My heart lives in freedom in His kingdom, where I see Him face to face in this paradise of His love. Jesus, it's you that I'm living for. Your truth
with your love are worth dying for, and I am raptured, I am captured, I'm immersed inside your grace. My heart lives in freedom in your kingdom, where I see you face to face, in this paradise of your love, in this paradise of your love.